reporting live from the Red Carpet Studios in Memphis. Thanks for watching Conversations with Betty LaMarr. Betty is renowned for her successful medical talk show, and now you're invited to watch this space for her new production, Conversations, which is laser-focused on the health and social issues affecting Memphians and the Mid-South community.
Thank you for watching Conversations with Betty LaMarr. Conversations are focused on people like you uplifting the city of Memphis. Visit Betty's YouTube channel, Betty LaMarr Memphis, for more great shows. Be sure to tune in on Mondays at 7 p.m. for Medical Talk with Betty on Xfinity Comcast Cable.
Thanks for tuning in to the Eye on Memphis show with Betty LaMarr. Eye on Memphis features top doctors, community leaders, and people just like you in the Bluff City doing what you do to uplift the city of Memphis. And now, your intriguing host, Betty LaMarr.
Hello, I'm Betty LaMarr, and welcome to this special edition Medical Talk on cable tonight. Welcome back to Medical Talk. I'm your host, Betty LaMarr. Joining me is Dr. Wissam Balouk. So how common is the disease, and how many people in our community have been diagnosed with sickle cell? Hello, and welcome to Medical Talk. I'm Betty LaMarr. Good evening, and welcome to this special edition on cable tonight. I'm your host, Betty LaMarr.
She said, you have breast cancer. She said, but it's very early stage.
Goes right to the brain centers in the same way as cocaine does.
It's not that common in the United States. However, it's the most deadly.
You really need to change the actual metabolism of your body if you're really going to have significant weight loss.
There can be different reasons why that person passes out, but sudden cardiac arrest remains the most life-threatening cause.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in. This is Medical Talk, and I'm your host, Betty LaMarr. Hello, and welcome. This is Medical Talk on cable tonight. I'm your host, Betty LaMarr. And welcome back to Medical Talk. I'm your host, Betty LaMarr. Welcome back to Medical Talk. I'm your host, Betty LaMarr. We're talking about the connection between mental health and the COVID-19 pandemic. Hello, and welcome to this special edition, Medical Talk, on cable tonight. I'm your host, Betty LaMarr. Hello, and welcome to Medical Talk. I'm your host, Betty LaMarr. Thank you for watching Medical Talk. I'm your host, Betty LaMarr. Today I'm having a conversation about women and heart disease with my studio guest, Miss Laquita Spann. Hi, Laquita. Welcome to Medical Talk.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I am so excited to have you here. You know, normally we talk about heart disease in February, but I just feel like any time of the year we can talk about heart disease.
Right.
And so we will today.
Okay.
First of all, before we get started, tell our viewers who you are as it relates to our topic today.
I am 2 years ago in 2021, that's almost 3 years, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I had a heart attack, and I ended up having to have quadruple bypass surgery from that heart attack. Was not aware that I had any issues with my heart, had never been to a cardiologist for anything. So it was just one July morning, I literally had a heart attack. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. I'm looking at you, and you look like you're really young, and a lot of people tend to think that heart disease and all that happens to like people like my dad,
right?
Older people,
right?
So you said you had no indication, nothing?
No. So in 2021, I can remember in January, I went to my primary care physician, and I had been experiencing high blood pressure. My blood pressure would be up sometimes, but I thought it was because of the pain, because I do have 3 bulging discs and arthritis in my back. So if I'm hurting a lot, my blood pressure will go high. So that's what I thought it was. So she started me out on blood pressure medicine the first time that I'd ever been on blood pressure medicine. So she started me on that in January of 21. And then fast forward to July, I was at home babysitting, and I felt funny, but I was like, oh, I'm thinking my blood pressure is up.
Okay, so felt funny, because we want to know what that funny feel like, because women, including myself, we sometimes ignore those feeling funny things. So unpack feeling funny to us, to women that need to know.
Let me see. Honestly, I felt like I had gas.
Okay.
That's what I originally felt like. I felt like I had gas, and then my heart rate was a little fast, and so that's what made me think, okay, my blood pressure is up.
Okay.
And my son was upstairs working, and I remember texting him saying, when you go on your break, come down here and watch the baby for a minute, because I think my blood pressure is up. And so once the baby went to sleep, I started walking around, because again, I'm still thinking, I think this is gas.
Okay.
That's what I really thought it was, gas. And so I walked around for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then I got to a point where I couldn't breathe.
Oh my goodness.
So I just leaned over my bed, and at this point I was sweating so bad, it was like water was dripping from my hands, like I had just came out of the bathtub or out of a pool of water. Yes, it was. I was sweating just that bad. And so then I just went down and laid on the floor. And I called my son, but of course he couldn't hear me. But thankfully he did come downstairs, and I told him, I was like, Darius, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And so he called 911. I did not have not one aspirin in my house.
Wow.
And I'm normally at home by myself. Just so happened my son had come home, so I'm normally there by myself. So I, thankfully he was there, and so he called the ambulance. And I'm still sweating so bad that he ran to open up the door, and before he ran to open up the door, he wiped me down to get the sweat off my face. Ran, opened up the door, came back. When he came back, I was drenched in water again.
Wow.
And so the ambulance rushed me to Methodist Germantown.
Okay.
And originally they couldn't say that it was a heart attack.
Why?
Because that's not what the EKG read. But after being there for so long, my enzymes kept going up. And that's how they were able to determine, oh, you had a heart attack.
Okay.
So I didn't get the, a lot of people say they get that feeling in their arm. I didn't have that feeling in my arm. Like I say, it literally felt like I had gas.
What about, I hear one of the side effects too, or symptoms, is like nausea. Did you get any nausea or anything like that you remember?
I don't remember being nauseous.
Just the gassy feeling?
Just the gassy feeling. That's what I remember. Just
was it in
gassy.
any particular area of your chest, or just, was it in your chest or in your stomach?
It was in my chest.
In your chest?
It definitely was in my chest.
Okay. Because I've had cardiologists on my show before, and they would say a lot of people that have heart attacks feel like they have a band, like an elephant, sitting on their chest. Did you feel?
I didn't feel
just the gas feeling.
Just the gas feeling. Because I was walking around saying, okay, let me walk around.
Yeah.
You walk around,
the gas off.
Walk the gas off. And then it got to the point where I just couldn't breathe anymore.
Okay.
So I didn't have that. If I did, because I was at that point realizing something is definitely wrong because I can't breathe, I can't recall having that tightness on my chest.
Okay. Talking about the heart attack.
Sure. Heart attack is basically, it can have a wide range of symptoms, and the symptoms can range from a slight chest discomfort that a lot of people ignore, and their treatment is delayed and they suffer irreversible damage to their heart. And sometimes chest discomfort, at other times they have the classic angina, which is a band-like sensation around your chest, like you feel like you're being tied in a band around your chest, and that band keeps squeezing, and that's a classic symptom. Then some people can have a feeling of an elephant sitting on their chest. So symptoms of chest pain, chest pressure. Sometimes in women you can have atypical symptoms like back pain, shoulder pains, arm pains, and even neck pains or jaw pain has been associated with the heart attack. So in a nutshell, I would say anything that is related to exertion and happens from your chin all the way down to your belly button and happens with exertion, goes away with rest, likely related to your heart, needs further investigation.
You know, we look for certain symptoms, like you said, the arm.
Right.
I knew about the sweating.
Right.
And they always say the nausea. And some women, they say with some it's like your neck, you know, some kind of back pain or something. And, you know, all of us sometimes have, like me, feel like I have like, it's almost like a trapped gas in the chest.
Right, right.
And I try to, you know, feel around to make sure there's no other things that feel like it's out of place. So this is really good for me to know, because now I know, okay, look out for the sweat.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm not a sweater by nature, so I always tell people if I ever sweat, I'm probably an ambulance.
Right. And I am a sweater.
Oh, see, I'm not.
Because I have hot flashes.
Oh,
so I am a
okay.
sweater. But I knew that wasn't a normal type of sweat. Where I'm like dripping in water.
Oh,
right.
What do you call it? Drenched.
Drenched. Like I feel like I had just came out the bathtub or a pool.
Well,
yeah, I was wringing wet.
So we're going to go to break and we're going to come back.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me, what was your first feeling when you said you went down?
Okay.
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 Watch this space for more medical talk.
Visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Medical Talk. I'm Betty LaMarr, and sharing the stage with me today is Laquita Spann, and we are talking about her journey living with heart disease. I'm so happy again, Laquita, to have you here with me.
Thank you.
And I guess for full disclosure, I just want our viewers to know that you are my first cousin. Right. And I'm so thankful to have this conversation because, as most people know, you know, heart disease does sometimes we use the word run in families, or it's sort of a DNA thing.
Right.
Because my father had a quadruple bypass, which is your uncle,
right,
and his sister,
right,
which is your mom's twin sister, had
triple bypass.
Triple bypass.
And then
my brother Sherman is 29.
Right.
He was 29 when he got a pacemaker.
Right.
And I think my mother passed away due to heart disease or heart failure, rather. So I think it's important that you know, families sort of kind of know that if you have a history of that. My thing is I try to eat right and do the right things, because if it's in your gene pool, there's nothing you can do to change that, but you can change. My dad used to say, when you know better, you do better. So you can change your diet and or things that you can do to make things better. Now let's go back. This is really good. I guess it wasn't good for you though, but let's go back to when you said you couldn't breathe, and you end up going to the floor. Let's unpack that and tell us exactly, take us there.
So I can't breathe, and I'm like, what is really going on? Because now I'm knowing this is not gas right here to the point where I can't breathe. And in all honesty, my first thought was, I got to make sure this baby's okay, even though he was asleep living his best life. But in my mind, I'm worried about my little babies, which is my nephew. So that was my first thought. And I just went to praying. It's not that I went to a like fear or I was scared or anything like that. I was just like, I'm just praying and figure out what's wrong with me, because I've never had this feeling before in my life. And so that's what my mindset was, just to pray and make sure that baby was okay. That's what my mindset was. But I wasn't, I was never afraid. If that makes sense. I wasn't really afraid. And then to piggyback on what you said about the family, my mom, she had a heart attack, but she only had to go with a stent. Oh. Yeah, she didn't tell, she wouldn't tell everybody everything.
Yeah, she's a lot like me.
Right. She's very private. Right. So a lot of people didn't even know that she experienced that. And now I know with her, the night that she had her heart attack, or she called me at 2 a.m, and she said, can you come take me to the emergency room? And it was so funny because while we were driving, again, taking her to Methodist, Germantown also, and I was so sleepy. So sleepy, and I was riding with her, and I was looking over there saying, "You probably just got gas." Right. That's what I was saying to myself.
And I could be in the bed sleeping.
Right, but now she did have the feeling in her arm. She did have that feeling, but she also had the gas feeling also.
Oh.
Right, she also had that same feeling, but of course, when she went in, they were able to do a stent on her, which was awesome, that she didn't have to go through the surgery and everything. She was able to get a stent.
Well, did she describe how the feeling felt in her arm?
Just a sharp pain.
Oh.
I remember her telling the doctor that it was just a sharp pain. But now when I picked her up, she told me she felt like she had gas. So we had that similarity of her feeling like she had gas with hers. And so like I said, because hers was not as bad as far as the blockage, they were able to go in and do a stent with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, when you felt like you couldn't breathe, was it like not like being smothered, or you? When
it was like I couldn't catch my breath.
Yes. Okay. That's
what I'm trying to get to. If you run real fast and it takes you a minute to catch your breath.
Okay.
Right. But it was like I couldn't catch that breath.
Oh my God.
Right. Normally you just.
Yeah.
I couldn't even do that.
Oh my goodness.
It's just I could not breathe. It was like that. It was that feeling.
So when you went down to the floor. Okay, so you couldn't get yourself up. You was just
I could not get up. I could not. I laid there probably because it took the ambulance. They got there fairly quickly.
Well, how long before your son, because your son made it down first?
He got there within the first 60 seconds.
Okay.
He was not, it wasn't long.
But he still didn't know you was having a heart attack.
He did not, because it was like I went down to he did not.
Okay.
I went down to the floor probably around the same time he was getting ready to take his break.
Oh, wow.
So because I had already texted him and said, come downstairs when you take your break.
Yeah, because you thought your high blood pressure was.
Right,
okay. Yeah,
right.
Okay.
And so he came downstairs because I had sent him that text. And so when he came downstairs, he said he thought I had fallen. And I was like, no, I laid down here because I couldn't catch my breath. And, of course, he was running all over the place.
Exactly.
Once we got the 911 operator on the phone, of course, she asked if we had an aspirin in the house. We didn't. So she told him to give me, if we had a BC, to take a BC. But by the time that happened, the ambulance was already there. Okay. So I would say within 5-6 minutes, the ambulance was at my house. And they were taking me out of there.
Wow.
Yeah, so it happened quick, quickly. And then we got to the hospital. And it was a minute before I was able to get in the room because, again, this is when COVID started to hike back up.
Oh, Lord.
It calmed down and then it kind of came back. So this is when COVID was kind of starting back up. So it was a minute before I was able to get into a room, but it was okay. I was in some pain, but because, your nieces work at the hospital, they kept coming to check on me. So, they made me a little comfortable. So I had to literally sit in the hospital bed in the hallway for about 3 hours.
Oh, God, with a heart attack.
With a heart attack.
Okay, but look, we gotta take another break here because this is so good. But when we come back, we're gonna talk about the surgery. We're gonna get to the exciting part of it, when you had to have surgery, how it felt, your recovery. Okay. That's what we're gonna spend the last segment on because I want to know about that.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Miss Laquita Spann.
Hello everyone, thanks for watching Conversations with Betty LaMarr. Conversations are focused on people like you doing things to uplift the city of Memphis. Betty LaMarr invites you to watch this space.
Have you ever thought about a talk show about HR? Well, it's here. HRTV is here. HRTV featuring the talk show Let's Talk HR with Dr. Deneen. I'm Dr. Deneen. The show's content will demonstrate the importance of HR in the workplace and how vital the voice of HR is to successful organizations. The show will spotlight HR professionals on every level with a focus on learning more about the people behind the profession. It's upbeat, it's fun, and it has informative episodes. The show will advance the HR profession by assisting HR professionals and organizations stay abreast of the most relevant and compliance-based information important to the workplace today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to be a part of the TV show's community and click on the notification bell so you will be notified when new episodes post. This is HRTV. I'm Dr. Deneen Lester, and I want to talk HR with you.
Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us today as we discuss women and heart disease. Now, Quita, we're at the hospital now. Okay, we've been in the hallway for 3 hours.
Right.
Now, we're going to fast forward because I want to know about what heart surgery is really like.
Okay.
You know, my daddy never really talked about it too much, you know, so I wanted to talk about it. So now, how long was it after you got from the emergency room that you knew you had to have
surgery?
Yeah, the bypass surgery. You said it was quadruple, right?
It was quadruple.
Ooh,
right.
okay.
The very next day. So once they came in, once Dr. Stewart, which was the cardiologist that was assigned to me, he's awesome. Once Dr. Stewart came in, asked me a couple of questions, so they wanted to go in and do the scope to see how much blockage I had.
Okay.
Because again, he was able to confirm you did have a heart attack.
Ooh.
Based on the fact that your enzymes were growing. And so the next morning they went in to check the blockage. They wanted to go in through the growing leg area, but they couldn't, so they had to go in through my arm.
Okay.
Which was a little difficult for me because you land on a hard table, and because I already have back issues, I had to lay on my back for an extended length of time. So they were able to discover from that I had four blockages.
Oh my God.
So we're going to do surgery on you. So that at that point, it was that Thursday. They did the surgery that Monday. And it was, I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
I woke up and I was fine. I wasn't in any pain once I woke up. It's irritating to have something down your throat, of course. That was the only thing that was discomforting for me. And the bed was not comfortable for me. So I immediately got up, which is what they want you to do anyway. And I had them to sit me in a chair. And later on that day, I got up and I walked a little bit in the hall. So my recovery was fairly easy for me, considering what I had been through in the past, because I was in the hospital in 2014 for pneumonia.
Okay.
That was hard compared to this. It was not difficult for me at all. Like I said, the bed was not comfortable. I don't remember anything about the surgery. I did not wake up in any pain. Once I got in the chair and I was able to get some pillows around me and get comfortable, everything was great. And then, of course, they want to make sure you get up and go to walking. And that's what I did.
And you know, I noticed that, and that's what amazed me too, because like when my dad had his heart surgery and like Thelma had her heart surgery, it's like, this is a surgery you would think you would come in and the person would be like hurting and suffering. And it's like nobody, it's like they're not in pain. I said, well, maybe they do that, medicate them somehow, because the last thing they would want you to do is have pain when you've already had. They probably didn't want to put that kind of pressure on your heart.
I wasn't given a lot of pain meds. I wasn't given a lot of pain meds. You know, of course they'll ask you, you know, how do you feel? What's your pain level? And thankfully I was not in any pain.
Thank you for watching Conversations with Betty LaMarr. Conversations are focused on people like you uplifting the city of Memphis. Visit Betty's YouTube channel, Betty LaMarr Memphis, for more great shows. Be sure to tune in on Mondays at 7 p.m. for Medical Talk with Betty on Xfinity Comcast Cable.
I wonder what keep the heart, people with heart surgery from having pain. Maybe because it's the heart.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't be in any pain because you no longer have blockage.
Oh, okay.
So you're breathing better. So you should not be in any pain. And remember that our uncle, the youngest brother, 4 years ago had a heart transplant.
Oh, I forgot about
Curtis. You forgot about Curtis, right? And so,
oh my God, we
remember
when
we were, and that's one of the things that when Dr. Stewart came into the to my room, and he was like, "Had you been having problems breathing? were you getting shortness of breath when you were walking? And I explained to him, no, this is the first year I've been on high blood pressure medicine. And then I explained to him, I was like, but this lady over here and her siblings. And so I went ahead and explained it, how it starts with our grandmother, because that's how she had heart disease. And then how it started, you know, with your dad and with mom and with Betty and then with Curtis. And so then he was like,
and Sherman.
And right, I forgot to tell him about Sherman. So then once that happened, then he was like, oh, it runs in the family. And also I want to let you know that another one of the cardiologists came in after I had the surgery to check on me. And he asked if I had ever had COVID. And I said I did. And he said with all the things that's going on with COVID, that he himself could not rule out that COVID didn't contribute to me having issues with my heart.
I've heard it happening.
Yeah. So I did have, you know, COVID at the end of 2020.
Okay.
Right. We all had it together. It wasn't bad.
Okay.
I had like one bad day. I had that bad headache and then pain in your hip, which I don't know what that is. Disrespectful pain. I don't know what that was. But we all had it together. You know, mama, my sister, and my brother. All of us had it together at the same time.
So you all didn't have to quarantine.
So mama ended up in the hospital.
Oh, that's right.
You know, she had COVID pneumonia. Right. So he said he couldn't rule out that COVID didn't have anything to do with what was going on with my heart. But I had the surgery on a Monday. I was home that Saturday. And because I work from home, I was still able to do my function. I didn't sleep in the bed because, you know, once you do have this surgery, you feel better sitting up in a chair, because I noticed that when you laying back, you do tend to cough, and that cough can hurt.
Oh, that's probably, I remember, you're right, because that's when Daddy had to get a recliner.
Right, I had to get the recliner, the one that lived.
I didn't know why, but it makes sense though, because it feels better. Like when you have gas, they say prop your pillows up in your bed, or acid reflux.
Right.
So I want to go back real quick, since I mentioned the gas, because we don't know how to distinguish between. So the gas, was it pain, Quita, or was it a pain kind of gas, or you just felt something weird in your chest? To know that first alert when you said, I thought I had gas.
You know how when you have gas, you know you either need to let it come out, it needs to come up, or one or the other. So it was kind of like that. It was a tightness. There was a tightness in my chest.
That must be what the doctor called like a band.
Right.
Like a band.
Right.
Okay.
Because those valves are not opening, up.
Okay, well, I am so happy we're wrapping this up, and we can talk about this forever and ever and ever.
Right.
And I'm just so proud. I'm so happy that you, the fact that I'm sitting here with you meant that you survived.
I did, and I'm doing good.
And I'm so happy, and I do agree with your doctor, because I interviewed a man that had COVID, and that he ended up, after his COVID, having to have, Dr. Chuck Lester, he had to have a bypass.
A bypass.
So again, thank you so much, Ms. Laquita Spann, for joining me on Medical Talk.
Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. I would like to thank my studio guest, Ms. Laquita Spann, for sharing her journey living with heart disease and cardiac bypass surgery. Thanks for watching Medical Talk with Betty LaMarr on GHS TV. Remember, you can also watch Medical Talk on Mondays at 7 o'clock p.m. on Comcast Channel 17. For more information on our programming, please check us out on the web at ghstv.org, where we're streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Betty LaMarr. From all of us at GHS TV, thank you for watching Medical Talk, and I hope to see you again.
Thanks again for watching Conversations with Betty LaMarr. Tune in on Mondays at 7 p.m. on Xfinity Cable Channel 17 and simultaneously on Channel 1091. To see more shows, subscribe to Betty's YouTube channel, Betty LaMarr Memphis. We will see you next week on Conversations with Betty LaMarr.